From trauma to triumph, the power of walking by faith. I want to begin today by acknowledging the extraordinary woman whose wisdom forms the foundation of everything I'm about to share. Katrina Hooker is not just a serial entrepreneur, community builder, and advocate. She is a modern day alchemist who has mastered the sacred art of turning pain into purpose. In our recent conversation, her insights on transformation left me profoundly changed, and I know they will do the same for you. Her work has literally saved lives, giving voice to the voiceless, and showing thousands of trauma survivors that their stories don't end in the darkness. She walks her talk with such authenticity that even the most skeptical hearts open in her presence. Have you ever felt like you were drowning in plain sight? Like you were smiling through meetings, handling business, raising children, supporting everyone around you, while inside you were barely holding on? That feeling, that disconnect between our outer strength and inner struggle is where so many of us live. Especially as Black women, we've been conditioned to wear our capes proudly, to push through pain, to be the rock for everyone else. But at what cost? In my conversation with Katrina, she shared something that stopped me in my tracks. You do not have to look like what you've been through. Let that sink in for a moment. You do not have to look like what you've been through. This isn't about pretending trauma doesn't exist. It's about refusing to let it define your future. It's about understanding that your wounds can become wisdom, your tests can become testimony, and your mess can become your message. When Katrina spoke about walking by faith, she wasn't talking about blind optimism. She was describing a deliberate choice to believe in possibilities beyond your current circumstances, even when evidence suggests otherwise. It's about taking that next step when you can't see the entire staircase. Consider Katrina Kaif, who transformed from being dismissed as just a pretty face in Bollywood to becoming a powerhouse entrepreneur. Before launching K Beauty in 2019, she faced crushing industry stereotypes that undervalued her abilities beyond acting. The beauty market in India was already crowded, competitive, and unforgiving. But here's where faith entered the picture. Instead of accepting others' limited perception of her, Katrina invested strategically, starting with Rs 2 crore, and leveraged her personal brand alongside deep product knowledge. She partnered with Falguni Nayar of Neka, creating a foundation of credibility and reach. The result? Within just 4 years, K Beauty became one of India's leading celebrity driven cosmetic brands, with annualized GMV reaching around Rs 170 crores. Her brand's empowering tagline, "It's K to be you," resonated with women across backgrounds. What's remarkable isn't just the financial success, it's the transformation of public perception. From underestimated actress to celebrated business leader, K Beauty set new standards as it's India's first celebrity owned beauty brand, encouraging women to embrace self worth through both product messaging and Katrina's personal journey. This is what walking by faith looks like in action. It's not waiting for validation before you begin, it's starting before you feel ready. It's believing in your vision when others can't yet see it. As Katrina Hooker emphasized, self belief is essential for resilience and success. When you trust and believe in yourself, even when facing adversity alone, you can reprogram your mindset, persevere, and become the leader you were born to be. But let's be honest, self belief doesn't always come naturally, especially after trauma or disappointment. Sometimes it feels like an impossible mountain to climb. The voices in our heads, often echoes of past critics, can be deafening. Who do you think you are? They whisper. What makes you qualified? They taunt. You're going to fail spectacularly, they warn. That's why I was so moved by the story of Katrina Standish, who balanced full time work while pursuing her dream of entrepreneurship. She and her husband, Ricky, wanted to expand their family property business near Lake Alice, but they lacked formal business experience or legal knowledge needed for growth. Instead of letting that stop them, they enrolled in the Spring 2025 Micro Enterprise Assistance Program, which provided education on business planning plus access to legal clinics. Juggling jobs at community action while caring for family property was challenging, but MAP gave them tools and confidence to move forward intentionally rather than reactively. Their graduation marked a milestone toward independent ownership. They developed plans for new offerings like Amish shed cabins, water recreation rentals, and fire pits, all aligned with Katrina's longtime aspirations. What strikes me about this story is how it illustrates the power of investing in yourself. When you seek out resources, even when starting alone, you can turn dreams into viable ventures that benefit not just you, but entire communities. This is what Katrina Hooker means when she says, your past does not define your future. It's possible to rise above pain, rewrite your story, and show up as an empowered example for others. Perhaps no example illustrates this more powerfully than Katrina herself, co founder of speakupshowup.org. As a serial entrepreneur with expertise spanning leadership development, branding strategy, and innovation consulting, she's built community empowerment initiatives targeting marginalized voices. Building credibility across sectors while addressing social issues often ignored or misunderstood required tremendous resilience. She faced skepticism about nonprofit sustainability led by Black women leaders. But instead of backing down, she leveraged her professional background plus lived experience overcoming adversity into actionable programs supporting other survivors' healing journeys. Her personal experiences navigating isolation after abuse and cancer inspired mission alignment between individual healing journeys and collective advocacy efforts. Through strategic networking and authentic storytelling rooted in lived truth, not just statistics or theory, she secured partnerships and funding streams that sustained the organization's growth. Today, Speak Up, Show Up has influenced broader conversations about leadership diversity and survivor led change models within nonprofit and social innovation spaces nationally. This example embodies turning pain into purpose, the core message behind walking by faith through trials toward triumph. Now, I want to pause here and acknowledge something important. When we talk about faith and self belief, we're not suggesting that trauma isn't real or that healing is simple. We're not promoting toxic positivity that dismisses genuine pain. What we are saying is that trauma, no matter how devastating, doesn't have to be your final chapter. As Black women, especially those of us between 38 and 55, we spent years in survival mode. We've led teams, raised families, held down households, carried communities, and many of us are exhausted. We're ready to shift from constantly grinding to finally grounding in joy, peace, softness, and self prioritization. This is what the soft girl era is truly about. It's not just aesthetics or trends, it's about a spiritual, emotional, and mental recalibration. It's about dropping the superwoman cape and understanding that softness is not weakness, it's a radical act of self love. Katrina Hooker's wisdom reminds us that healing from trauma isn't just possible, it's our birthright. Learning to say no without guilt, embracing authenticity, and using faith as our foundation. These aren't luxuries, they're essential components of our transformation. I'm reminded of the powerful affirmation: I am not what happened to me, I am what I choose to become. This journey from trauma to triumph requires us to release the cape, redefine strength, embrace softness, heal in real time, protect our peace as a practice, and discover purpose beyond pain. When Katrina talks about walking by faith, transforming your life, she's speaking about a profound truth. No matter the depth of your trauma or the challenges you face, embracing faith and trusting in yourself can lead you from hardship to triumph. Think about it this way: faith isn't just about religion, though for many of us, spiritual grounding is vital. Faith is also about believing in possibilities you cannot yet see. It's about taking that next step even when the path ahead is unclear. The scripture says, faith is the substance of things hoped for, the evidence of things not seen. When you're in the middle of trauma or challenge, you can't always see the way forward. But faith gives substance to your hopes. It creates evidence where none yet exists. Today, I challenge you to stop waiting for permission to heal. Stop waiting for someone to validate your pain before you begin your journey toward wholeness. Stop waiting for perfect conditions before you take that first step towards your dreams. Your trauma may have shaped you, but it does not own you. Your past may inform you, but it does not define you. Your scars may mark you, but they also prove your survival. I want you to leave here today with this unshakable truth burning in your heart. You are not what happened to you. You are what you choose to become. And that choice, that sacred, powerful choice, begins right now in this moment. Take one bold step today, fueled purely by faith. Reach out for the help you've been too proud to ask for. Launch that idea you've been too afraid to pursue. Set that boundary you've been too guilty to enforce. Tell your story you've been too ashamed to share. Because when you walk by faith, when you step into the fullness of who you were created to be despite your fears, you don't just transform your own life. You become a living testimony that inspires others to do the same. Your triumph isn't just for you, it's for everyone watching you, wondering if healing is possible for them too. It's for the generations coming behind you who need to see what resilience looks like in human form. So walk by faith, not because it's easy, but because it's necessary. Not because you can see the whole path, but because you trust the light within you to illuminate the next step. Your triumph awaits, and the world is waiting for you to claim it.